My friends, let me begin with a truth that is often overlooked. Health does not start at the gym, it does not begin with the scale, and it is not only written in your medical records. Health starts much closer, right at the top of your head. The scalp, that foundation of every strand of hair, is not just skin. It is the soil in which the seeds of your confidence, your energy, and even your sense of self-expression grow. Just as no garden can flourish in barren earth, no crown of hair can thrive if the scalp beneath it is neglected. And yet, how often do we ignore this foundation? How often do we rush past it, treating hair as decoration, while forgetting the living ground that sustains it? Today, I want to challenge you to see scalp health not as vanity, but as vitality. Because when you take care of your scalp, you are taking care of yourself. The first step toward maintaining scalp health is nourishment. Think of your scalp as fertile soil. Soil that is dry, cracked, and starved of nutrients will never produce healthy crops, no matter how many flowers you plant in it. In the same way, a scalp deprived of proper nutrition, hydration, and care cannot produce strong, vibrant hair. What you eat becomes the building block of your scalp's health. Omega-3 fatty acids, vitamins like B and E, iron and zinc, are not just words on a supplement bottle. They are the bricks and mortar of healthy skin and follicles. Hydration, too, is more than quenching thirst. Every glass of water is a gentle rain shower that nourishes your internal soil. Imagine your scalp soaking in the benefits of every piece of salmon you eat, every handful of nuts you enjoy, every sip of water you take. Just as a farmer tends his field with the best nutrients, you must feed your scalp with foods that sustain life, not strip it. Ask yourself, if my body is the house I live in, why would I neglect the very roof that covers me? But nourishment goes deeper than food. It is also about how we protect our scalp from harm. Harsh chemicals, excessive heat, and constant stress are like pollutants dumped onto once rich land. The scalp, just like any part of your body, can only endure so much before it cries out with flakes, itchiness, or thinning hair. Have you ever noticed how quickly we run to repair what we see, the breakage, the frizz, while ignoring what we don't see, the root of the problem? True nourishment requires care at the level no one else sees. It requires you to step back, simplify, and allow your scalp to breathe, to recover, to thrive. Because health, my friends, is never about quick fixes. It is always about the unseen work of daily care. The second key to scalp health is circulation. Let me ask you this: how long can a fire burn without oxygen? How long can a river flow without fresh rain? Just as life needs movement, so too does your scalp. Blood flow is the invisible lifeline that delivers nutrients to every follicle, every cell, every pore. Without circulation, even the best diet cannot reach its destination. And the miracle is this: you hold the power to ignite that circulation with your own hands. Have you ever felt the relief of massaging your scalp at the end of a long day? That tingling warmth is not just comfort, it is energy, oxygen, and vitality surging through pathways that had fallen asleep. Regular scalp massage, gentle brushing, and exercise all stimulate the flow of life to your scalp. Imagine it like turning on the irrigation system in a dry garden. Suddenly the flowers perk up, the soil softens, the roots drink deeply. This is what happens every time you knead your fingers into your scalp, every time you take a brisk walk that pumps your blood with vigor, every time you pause to breathe deeply and let stress dissolve. Circulation is not just a physical act, it is a reminder that life is meant to move. Stagnation breeds decay, but movement brings growth. When you stimulate your scalp, you are not just tending to skin, you are awakening life within yourself. And yet, circulation is not only about blood, it is also about energy, presence, and mindfulness. How often do we go through the motions of caring for our bodies without truly being present? Washing our hair in a rush, brushing distractedly, massaging half-heartedly. But when you give your scalp your full attention, when you slow down and breathe as you touch the crown of your head, you are telling yourself, I am here, I am alive, I am worthy of care. That mindfulness transforms a simple routine into a ritual of love. The third and final key is balance. Just as the earth needs balance between sun and rain, the scalp needs balance between cleanliness and natural oils, between stimulation and rest, between protection and exposure. Too much washing strips away its natural defenses. Too little washing suffocates it under layers of buildup. Too much product clogs the pores, while too much neglect leaves it vulnerable. Balance is the wisdom of knowing when to act and when to allow nature to do its work. Consider this: your scalp, like your life, thrives in harmony. Stress, lack of sleep, and imbalance in daily habits often show up first in your skin and scalp. How many times have you noticed hair shedding more during moments of exhaustion or emotional turmoil? The scalp reflects your inner world, quietly mirroring your state of being. And just as no one can live a fulfilled life out of balance, no scalp can remain healthy when pulled to extremes. Balance means listening to your body, respecting its rhythms, and creating consistency. It is not about perfection, it is about harmony. But here is the most powerful truth of all. The way you treat your scalp is a metaphor for the way you treat yourself. Do you nourish yourself with good things, or do you starve yourself with neglect? Do you keep your life in motion, or do you let stagnation dull your spark? Do you live in balance, or do you swing wildly between extremes? The scalp is a mirror of self-care, a reminder that when you tend the ground you stand on, beauty and confidence follow naturally. So I ask you, what story will your scalp tell about the way you live your life? Will it whisper of neglect, or will it sing of care? Will it reflect imbalance, or will it shine with harmony? Every choice you make, every meal, every massage, every routine is a brushstroke painting the canvas of your health. Let us remember that hair is not just hair, it is our crown. It is the banner we wear every day, silently announcing how well we care for ourselves. And beneath that crown lies the scalp, often unseen but always vital, like the roots beneath a tree. A tree is only as strong as its roots. A crown is only as radiant as its foundation. Your scalp is that foundation. Today, I challenge you to take action. Nourish yourself from within with foods that heal. Stimulate your circulation with touch and movement that awaken life. Protect your balance with habits that honor your body's natural rhythm. Do not wait for a crisis. Do not wait for thinning or pain or flakes to remind you of what you neglected. Begin today. Begin now. Because in the end, scalp health is not just about hair. It is about self-respect. It is about vitality. It is about claiming the confidence that comes from knowing you are cared for by the one person who matters most, yourself. And when you begin to care for yourself from the crown down, you will find that everything else begins to grow, to shine, to flourish. So stand tall, wear your crown with pride, and let it be a reflection of the love you give to yourself. For when the foundation is strong, when the soil is rich, when the balance is true, life cannot help but bloom. And your scalp, your hair, your confidence, and your very spirit will testify to the world that you are alive, you are thriving, and you are worthy of every good thing. My friends, let us journey even deeper into this truth, because sometimes we hear words, we nod, we understand them on the surface, but they don't quite sink into our souls until we sit with them, until we let them breathe inside us, until we explore every corner of what they mean. When we talk about maintaining scalp health, we are not only talking about hair or appearance or beauty, we are talking about identity, about vitality, about how we choose to show up in the world. And when you begin to take responsibility for something as seemingly small as your scalp, you are declaring to life itself, I care for myself enough to tend to even the hidden places. That is where true transformation begins. Think of a child planting a seed. To the outside eye, there is nothing but soil. Weeks pass, the soil looks unchanged, but underground a miracle is happening. The roots are forming, the foundation is spreading, strength is building. And then one day, almost suddenly, a sprout emerges. That is how your scalp works. Much of the work you do for it will not show immediate results. You may massage it for weeks, nourish it with vitamins, protect it with care, and wonder if it's worth it. But beneath the surface, strength is being woven into the very fabric of your follicles. And then one day, your hair feels stronger, your confidence looks brighter, and you realize the unseen work has blossomed. Isn't that the story of life itself? The things we cultivate in silence, the habits we practice when no one is watching, The care we give ourselves behind the scenes, those are the things that eventually shine for the world to see. Nourishment, as we said, begins with what we put inside our bodies. Imagine your scalp as a living canvas, one that paints its story with the colors of your diet. When you eat junk food, sugar, grease, processed snacks, it is like splashing mud across that canvas. When you eat whole foods, leafy greens, fruits, fish, nuts, grains, it is like painting it with the brilliance of sunrise. Every meal is a choice, not just for your waistline or your energy, but for the health of your scalp. And if you want to see the difference, think about how your skin glows after weeks of proper hydration, how your energy lifts after days of clean eating. The scalp responds in the same way. It thrives on what you give it, and it quietly thanks you with strength, resilience, and vibrancy. But nourishment is not only physical, it is also emotional. Have you ever noticed how stress seems to crawl right into your scalp? You run your hands through your hair during a long day, and the tension feels locked into the very skin of your head. That is not imagination, it is biology. Stress constricts blood flow, creates hormonal imbalances, and robs your scalp of the very nutrients it needs. And what does stress feed on? Neglect. When you neglect yourself, stress grows wild, choking out your peace like weeds in a garden. That is why emotional nourishment is essential. Laughter, joy, rest, meditation, gratitude, these are not luxuries. They are scalp medicine. They are life medicine. When you choose joy, you release the grip of stress on your scalp and your whole body. Now let us dwell on circulation a little longer, because this is where action meets intention. You could know all about vitamins and water, you could stock your fridge with the best foods, but if your blood is not flowing, if your life is not moving, your scalp cannot thrive. Picture this: a river that carries nutrients to every corner of a forest. As long as it flows, the trees drink, the flowers bloom, the animals flourish. But when the river stagnates, when debris blocks its path, life begins to wither. Your blood is that river, your scalp is that forest. Movement, whether through exercise, massage, or even simple stretching, is the key to keeping the river alive. And let us not underestimate the power of touch. A simple scalp massage, just 5 minutes a day, can change everything. Not only does it bring circulation, but it brings presence. It is an intimate conversation between you and yourself. Think of the times you have touched your head in frustration, rubbing your temples as if trying to release the burden of the day. Now imagine flipping that moment, touching your scalp not out of frustration, but out of love. 5 minutes of intentional care, breathing deeply, pressing gently, reminding yourself, I am here, I am alive, I deserve care. Can you feel how different that energy is? Can you feel how it shifts not only your scalp, but your spirit? And circulation, my friends, is about more than blood. It is about circulation of energy, of habits, of thoughts. Life must keep moving. When you are stuck in routines that no longer serve you, when you repeat habits that harm rather than heal, your life stagnates just as surely as a blocked river. But when you introduce new energy, learning a new skill, moving your body differently, breaking a negative cycle, you bring fresh oxygen into your life. Your scalp benefits, but so does your soul. The crown of your head becomes a crown of growth because you allowed circulation not only in your body, but in your spirit. Now let us turn once more to balance, because balance is where wisdom lives. The scalp, like the rest of life, cannot thrive in extremes. Wash too often, and you strip away its shield. Wash too little, and you suffocate it. Use too many products, and you overwhelm it. Use none at all, and you abandon it. Balance asks for attentiveness. It asks you to listen, to observe, to learn the language of your own body. No two scalps are exactly alike. Your balance may not be your neighbor's balance, and that is where self-awareness becomes vital. When you pay attention to your scalp, you learn how it speaks to you, through dryness, through oiliness, through sensitivity, through shedding. Every signal is an invitation, a whisper saying, something is out of harmony, come back to balance. But balance extends beyond the scalp itself. It stretches into every corner of your life. Think about it. How often do we work ourselves to exhaustion, thinking productivity is the highest form of achievement? How often do we push, 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 until our bodies break down, Our hair falls, our skin dulls, our joy disappears. The scalp reflects this imbalance. It reveals stress. It tells the story of sleepless nights and restless minds. And just as we must give the scalp balance between care and rest, so too must we give our lives balance between work and restoration, between ambition and peace. Balance is saying yes to yourself as often as you say yes to others. Balance is making room for silence in a noisy world. Balance is respecting your limits, not as weakness, but as wisdom. And when you live with balance, the scalp thrives because the whole body thrives. The scalp, remember, is not separate from the rest of you. It is connected to your blood, your nerves, your hormones, your mind, your emotions. To care for it is to care for your whole being. So, where do we go from here? What do we do with this knowledge? Because knowing is only the first step. Action is what transforms. I challenge you to see your scalp not as an afterthought, but as a priority. Begin today. Tonight, when you wash your hair, don't rush. Pause. Breathe. Massage your scalp as though you were tending to sacred soil. Tomorrow, when you sit at your table, ask yourself, is what I'm about to eat nourishing the crown of my head or starving it? And every day, even for just a few minutes, move your body, walk, stretch. Let your blood carry life to the farthest corners of your being, including your scalp. But more than that, see the scalp as a mirror of self-care. Let it remind you that the hidden places matter. The foundation matters. The things no one sees matter most, because they are the roots from which everything else grows. Just as no tree can stand tall without strong roots, no life can flourish without attention to the unseen foundations of health, peace, and balance. And here is the beauty. When you care for your scalp, the results ripple outward. Your hair becomes stronger, yes. Your confidence grows, yes. But something deeper happens. You begin to respect yourself. You begin to treat yourself as worthy of time, worthy of care, worthy of love. And that shift, my friends, is the foundation of every great change in life. So I leave you with this vision. Imagine yourself a year from now, looking in the mirror. Your hair is stronger, your scalp is healthier, but more importantly, your eyes shine brighter. Your spirit feels lighter, because you chose to care, because you chose nourishment over neglect, circulation over stagnation, balance over extremes, and that choice has changed you, from the crown of your head to the very soles of your feet. And isn't that what life is about? Not waiting for someone else to crown you with worth, but learning to wear your crown with pride, because you have built it from the inside out. So let us step forward today, each of us, and declare with our actions, I will care for my foundation. I will nurture what is unseen. I will live with balance. I will honor my crown. For when you honor your crown, you honor yourself. And when you honor yourself, you become unstoppable. So go, my friends, and tend to the soil at the top of your being. Nourish it, stimulate it, balance it. Let your scalp become a symbol of the care you give to your life. And may the world see, through your strength, through your vitality, through your radiant presence, that you are alive, you are thriving, and you are worthy of every crown this life can give. My dear friends, let us linger longer on this path, because what seems like a small subject, the scalp, is in truth a doorway to a much greater understanding of how we live, how we care, and how we grow. When we say maintain scalp health, we are not talking about vanity, we are talking about vitality. We are talking about how the choices we make in the quietest moments build up into the story of who we are. And today, we are writing that story together. Think for a moment about the garden. A farmer never ignores the soil simply because people admire the flowers. He knows that without the hidden earth, without the worms, the minerals, the moisture, the unseen world beneath, no beauty above can last. The scalp is the soil of your hair, and your hair, whether thick or thin, long or short, curly or straight, is the flower. But if you only focus on the flower, spraying it with artificial shine, covering it with temporary fixes, while the soil beneath starves, the flower eventually fades. Life does not reward the neglect of foundations. Life rewards care for the roots. Let us go back to nourishment. I want you to picture a day in your life. You wake up, you rush to get ready, you grab something quick to eat, perhaps bread with sugar, a processed snack, coffee gulped down fast. You think of the fuel for your stomach, but have you thought of the fuel for your scalp? That scalp is alive. It is made of millions of tiny cells that hunger for nutrition. It does not get what it needs from sprays or serums alone. It gets it from within. When you eat foods rich in omega-3s, like salmon or walnuts, you are oiling the hinges of your scalp from the inside out. When you eat spinach, berries, eggs, you are sending vitamins to the very roots that hold your hair. Every choice at the table is not just about taste, it is about feeding the crown you wear every day. Now I know some of you may think, does it really matter that much? Can one meal, one choice really affect something as far away as my scalp? And the answer is yes, because health is cumulative. Every sip of water hydrates every cell, including those in your scalp. Every junk meal takes away, but every nourishing meal gives back. Your body keeps score, it remembers. And your scalp, though it may not speak in words, testifies through its health. Think of someone who radiates wellness. Their skin glows, their hair shines, their presence feels alive. That is nourishment speaking. And you have that power too. But let me ask you this. What happens when nourishment is absent? Have you ever seen land during a drought? Cracked, dry, lifeless? That is what your scalp becomes when it is starved of care. Hair weakens, falls, dulls. And it is not just about appearance. It is about the message it sends to your whole being. Neglect spreads. When you neglect your scalp, often you are neglecting your sleep, your food, your hydration, your peace. It is all connected. And when you reclaim one part, you begin to reclaim all. Nourishment of the scalp is an act of reclaiming your power to choose life over neglect. Let us move into circulation again, but this time I want you to imagine something vividly. Picture a tree standing tall in the forest. Its roots drink from underground streams. When those streams flow strong, the tree thrives. When the streams are blocked, the tree withers. Now imagine your scalp as that tree, your blood as the underground stream. Every beat of your heart is a pump, sending oxygen, nutrients, vitality. But if your body is still for too long, if stress tightens your vessels, if you never stimulate your scalp with touch or movement, that stream weakens. And when the stream weakens, the tree cannot stand tall. This is why movement is not optional, it is life. Exercise is not just about muscles or weight, it is about pumping the rivers of your body so that every part, even the crown of your head, is watered with energy. And scalp massage? That is you, the caretaker of the tree, clearing the stream, loosening the soil, making sure life can reach where it is needed. Have you ever felt that gentle tingling when you massage your scalp? That is the music of circulation, the song of life moving again. And let me say this, touch is healing. The scalp is covered with nerve endings. When you massage it, you are not just increasing blood flow, you are sending signals of peace to your brain. You are saying, relax, you are safe, you are cared for. Think of how comforting it feels when someone else washes or brushes your hair. It is not just physical, it is emotional, spiritual. That same gift you can give yourself every day with just a few minutes of intentional touch. And in that touch, you awaken not only your scalp, but your soul. Now, balance. Balance is the art of wisdom. It is the ability to stand between two extremes and hold steady. The scalp craves balance because it is delicate. Wash it too often, and it cries out in dryness. Wash it too little, and it suffocates. Cover it with too many products, and it suffocates again. Ignore it completely, and it suffers silently. Balance is knowing when to act and when to let be. Balance also shows in the rhythms of your life. When you live with constant stress, no sleep, and poor routines, your scalp reveals it. Hair loss increases, itching rises, oil imbalances appear. The scalp is like a messenger whispering, "Your life is not in balance." And if you ignore the whisper, it becomes a shout. This is why scalp care is not only physical, it is a reflection of your whole lifestyle. Do you rest enough? Do you hydrate enough? Do you protect yourself from harsh sun and cold winds? Do you respect your limits? Balance is not about perfection, it is about harmony. And harmony, my friends, is the secret of joy. When your scalp is balanced, your hair thrives. When your life is balanced, your soul thrives. The two are not separate, they are mirrors of each other. But now, let me tell you something even deeper. The scalp is symbolic. It is not just skin, It is your crown, the place where your body meets the sky. The crown chakra, in many traditions, is said to be the seat of spiritual connection, the place where energy enters and flows. Whether or not you follow that belief, one truth remains: your scalp is your crown. When you touch it with care, you are affirming your worth. When you nourish it, you are honoring your roots. When you balance it, you are living in wisdom. Think of how kings and queens wear crowns. They are not just ornaments, they symbolize responsibility, dignity, strength, and you too wear a crown every day. Your scalp, your hair, your presence. How you care for it speaks volumes about how you see yourself. Neglect it, and you send the message, I am not worth the time. Care for it, and you proclaim, I am valuable, I am strong, I am worthy. So let me ask you, how do you wear your crown? Do you let it dull, weighed down by neglect, or do you let it shine, polished by daily acts of love? Because the truth is, no one else can polish it for you. Others may encourage, others may teach, but ultimately, it is your hands, your choices, your heart that decide. And here lies the call to action. Do not wait for crisis to begin caring. Do not wait for hair to fall, for flakes to spread, for pain to force you to notice. Begin now, while you have the power to prevent, to strengthen, to thrive. Begin with simple acts. Drink more water. Add leafy greens to your meals. Massage your scalp before bed. Wash it with balance. Protect it from the sun with a hat, from cold with warmth. Rest. Laugh. Breathe. These are not luxuries. These are the building blocks of health. And as you do these things, notice how the practice spills into every part of your life. Because when you begin caring for the hidden places, you become a different person. You begin to notice other neglected areas, your heart, your dreams, your relationships. You begin to water them too. And soon, your whole life begins to bloom. Let me leave you with a vision. Imagine yourself standing tall a year from now, 2 years from now, 5 years from now. Your hair is healthier, yes. Your scalp is strong, yes. But more importantly, you feel different. You radiate vitality. People notice not just your hair, but the glow in your presence. They ask, what changed? And you smile because you know the truth. It wasn't a product. It wasn't a miracle cure. It was you. It was your decision to care. It was your decision to nourish, to circulate, to balance. It was your decision to honor your crown. And that, my friends, is the message today. Care for your scalp, not because it is fashionable, but because it is foundational. Care for it not just for hair, but for health. Care for it not out of vanity, but out of dignity. For when you care for your crown, you remind yourself daily, I am alive, I am thriving, I am worthy. So go forth and begin. Drink the water. Eat the foods that heal. Move your body. Touch your scalp with love. Live in balance. And as you do, let your scalp be a silent testimony to the world that you are a person who values the hidden roots, who builds from the foundation, who wears their crown with pride. Because in the end, your scalp is not just skin, it is a symbol of how you live your life. Keep it nourished, keep it alive, keep it balanced, and your whole being will rise, just as surely as flowers rise from fertile soil. And when people see you, when they feel your presence, they will know, here is someone who cares. Here is someone who shines. Here is someone who is unstoppable. My friends, since we are walking this road together, let us continue to unfold the deeper meaning of what it truly means to maintain scalp health. We have spoken of nourishment, of circulation, of balance, but now I want you to see how these lessons, when stretched and lived, ripple far beyond the surface of your head. They become lessons for your body, for your habits, for your destiny. What begins as care for your scalp becomes care for your entire existence. And I promise you this, if you embrace these truths not only as beauty rituals, but as life rituals, you will feel a transformation that no product, no quick fix, no superficial promise could ever deliver. Let me start with a story. There was once a woman who spent her life trying to look perfect. She used every hair serum, every spray, every salon treatment, but she ignored her body, her diet, her rest. She looked for quick shine without deep care, and as time passed, her hair grew weaker, her scalp grew irritated, her confidence began to crumble. One day, someone asked her, Why do you polish the leaves but starve the roots? That question struck her heart. She realized she had been treating the surface while neglecting the source. And so she changed. She began eating whole foods, drinking water, massaging her scalp every night, reducing stress, finding balance. Months passed, and her hair grew thicker, her scalp calmed, but more than that, her life grew steadier. She was more patient, more joyful, more alive. Her crown became strong because her foundation became strong. That story is not just hers. It can be yours. How many of us polish the leaves but starve the roots? How many of us focus on the surface of life, chasing appearances, while ignoring the foundations of health, peace, and care? The scalp teaches us to reverse that habit. Care for the roots, and the leaves will take care of themselves. Now let us return to nourishment and go even deeper. Picture your scalp as a living community. Each follicle is like a tiny home, housing a strand of hair. Inside those homes, cells work tirelessly, day and night, producing, repairing, growing. But what happens if the community is underfed? What happens if the houses receive no resources? They weaken, they collapse, they stop producing. This is exactly what happens when your diet lacks the essential building blocks of health. The follicles cannot thrive without nutrients. So I ask you, what are you feeding your community? Are you sending junk, toxins, empty calories? Or are you sending vitamins, minerals, proteins, healthy fats? Every bite is a shipment, every meal is a delivery truck, and the scalp receives it all. Imagine delivering weak, broken materials every day to a construction site. The builders cannot create strong houses, but deliver strong bricks, sturdy wood, solid steel, and the houses rise tall. Your follicles are those builders. They can only work with what you give them. And hydration. Oh, how powerful it is. Think of water as the rain that keeps the soil fertile. Without rain, the land cracks. Without hydration, the scalp dries, itches, flakes. Yet so many of us go through our days dehydrated, sipping coffee or soda, forgetting the simplest medicine nature ever gave us, water. Every glass you drink is not just for your thirst, it is for your skin, your scalp, your blood, your cells. It is the river that carries nutrients to the crown of your head, so drink as though your scalp depends on it, because it does. But nourishment is not only about what goes in the body, it is also about what we keep out. Harsh chemicals in shampoos, overuse of heat tools, pollution, stress hormones, all of these are like toxins dumped into fertile land. You must become the guardian of your scalp's soil. Read the labels. Choose gentleness. Protect your head from harsh weather. And most importantly, protect yourself from the toxic stress that burns inside when you carry too much. Nourishment requires defense, just as much as it requires giving. Now, let us once more dwell in the world of circulation. I want you to imagine something. Imagine two rivers flowing side by side. One is vibrant, rushing, alive, feeding the land around it. The other is stagnant, clogged with debris, water barely moving. Which river would you want to water your crops? Which river would you want to nourish your scalp? This is the difference between a body that moves and a body that sits still, between a person who stretches, walks, breathes deeply, and one who lives confined, hunched, sedentary. Your scalp is watered by your rivers of blood, and you decide whether those rivers flow strong or weak. Simple movement creates miracles. A walk in the morning sun, a dance in your living room, a yoga stretch, even standing up and rolling your shoulders, all these ignite circulation. And when circulation is ignited, your scalp is fed. So never underestimate the power of small movement. Do not think that only hours in the gym matter. No, it is the daily, consistent stirring of the river that makes the difference. And then, the sacred ritual of scalp massage. My friends, this is not just vanity. This is therapy. This is medicine. 5 minutes, your fingertips gently pressing, your breath steady, your mind calm. In those 5 minutes, you awaken nerves, you stimulate vessels, you invite oxygen, you tell your body, life flows here. But even more beautiful, you tell yourself, I am worth 5 minutes of care. And that message is powerful. How many of us rush through the day, giving to everyone else, never giving to ourselves? How many of us collapse at night, exhausted, without even 1 minute of self-touch, of gratitude for our bodies. The scalp massage is not just physical, it is symbolic. It is saying, I deserve care. And when you repeat that message daily, your body believes it, your mind believes it, your soul believes it. You become a person who values themselves, not in words, but in actions. And then, balance. Balance is where all wisdom rests. Without balance, nourishment turns to excess, circulation turns to obsession, care turns to control. Balance is listening. It is respecting your body's rhythm. Wash your scalp too much and you strip it. Wash it too little and you clog it. Sleep too much and you become sluggish. Sleep too little and you become depleted. Eat too much and you burden yourself. Eat too little and you starve yourself. Life is always asking for balance. The scalp, my friends, is like a wise teacher whispering the lesson of balance daily. It shows you when you overdo. It shows you when you underdo. Dryness, oiliness, irritation, shedding. These are signals, not enemies. They are messengers telling you, find balance. And if you listen, if you adjust, if you honor the message, your scalp returns to harmony. But balance is also about the mind. How many of us live out of balance, consumed by worry, chained to stress, always chasing, never resting? The scalp feels it. Tension builds in the crown, hair sheds, health declines. But when you live with balance, work with focus, rest with peace, move with joy, sleep with gratitude, your whole body thanks you, and your scalp, that crown of your being, reflects the harmony within. Now let me speak of something even deeper, the symbolism of the crown. Your scalp is not just a patch of skin, it is the place closest to the sky. In many traditions, it is seen as the seat of wisdom, the connection to the divine, the crown chakra, the gateway of energy. Whether you believe in chakras or not, the symbolism is undeniable. Your scalp is your crown. It is the highest point of your body, the place that greets the light, the place kings and queens adorn with crowns of gold. You wear a crown every day, not of jewels, but of hair and skin. And how you care for it is how you honor yourself. Neglect it, and you send the message that your crown is not worthy. Care for it, and you proclaim, I honor my worth. Think about it. The head is where people place hands in blessing, where oil is poured in anointing, where crowns are laid in coronation. It is the sacred place of dignity. So treat it as sacred. When you massage your scalp, you are not just stimulating follicles, you are honoring your crown. When you nourish it, you are not just feeding cells, you are respecting your throne. And so, the call to action grows even louder. Begin today. Do not wait for a crisis. Do not wait for hair to fall, for pain to rise, for flakes to appear. Begin when you are strong, so you stay strong. Drink the water, eat the foods, move your body, massage your crown, live in balance. And each time you do, remind yourself, I am worthy of care. Because here is the truth. The way you treat your scalp reflects the way you treat your life. If you ignore the foundations, your life weakens. If you nourish the roots, your life strengthens. If you allow circulation, energy flows. If you live with balance, harmony reigns. The scalp is your teacher. Listen to it. And as you listen, watch the ripple effects. Stronger hair, yes. Healthier skin, yes. But more than that, a stronger spirit, a healthier life. You begin to carry yourself differently. You stand taller. You speak with more confidence. You shine with quiet dignity, because you know your crown is cared for. And one day, when someone asks you, what changed? What makes you glow? What gives you this strength? You will smile, because you will know the answer. It was not just shampoo. It was not just product. It was care. It was love. It was daily acts of nourishment, circulation, and balance. It was the decision to honor your crown. So I leave you with this. Go forth, my friends, and tend to your crown. Treat it as sacred soil. Nourish it, water it, balance it. And as you do, watch how your life begins to bloom, not only from the crown down, but from the inside out. For when the foundation is strong, when the crown is honored, life itself rises in strength. You will stand tall, shine bright, and declare with your presence alone, I am alive, I am thriving, I am worthy of every crown life can offer.